Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Rockstar Flipper YouTube channel. Thursday live show each and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know everyone saw the title, and we're going to talk about selling hard goods and bigger, odd, more expensive, more profitable items. More profitable items that everybody wants for eBay. And it does take sometimes a little more work and going outside of your comfort zone, outside of the box. And so I decided to bring somebody on tonight that I've been talking with for the last couple of weeks. We, in fact, scheduled this about 2 weeks ago. He's here from my home state of Florida. He lives about an hour and a half, give or take, north of me. I used to live closer to him, about an hour from here. And so he's up in my old neck of the woods from about 13, 14 years ago. Little town called Spring Hill is where I lived, and he lives not too far from there. So I'm going to bring him on, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. I'm going to show you some of his stuff, some of his eBay finds. His 90-day total right now is over $20,000, and he sells a lot of items that most of you wouldn't even dream of selling or even know you could sell. So real quick, if you need any help in the chat before I bring Mike on, Colleen and Adam, they have the blue wrenches. They're the admins. Please ask them for any questions, comments, concerns, links over in the chat. And otherwise, let's jump into it and get started. And I want you guys to say hello to, and he goes by Flippin' Goodies on eBay, YouTube, and everywhere else. But this is Mike. What's up, Mike?
How you doing? How's everybody doing? Casey, thank you.
You are welcome. I am glad to have Mike here because, listen, we talk a lot about clothing, a lot about small items, and he sells probably some of the coolest stuff I've seen on eBay. Everyone knows I go through stores all the time, and I went through Mike's store a couple weeks ago, and man, it's fantastic, the stuff that you get. And I want to say, before I let Mike explain it a little more, he lives in a small town, and I'll let you do it because I don't want to be politically incorrect. Kind of describe the area in the town that you live in. Tell us why you get this cool stuff.
Okay, well, let me start off by saying I am from Long Island, so that's where the accent comes from. Okay, grew up in Long Island. I live in a very rural town. I'll give you a perfect example, Casey. Ready? You know who Mike Hampton is? Baseball player?
Yes.
Grew up here in Crystal River. Okay. And went to the town and said, give me 20 acres of land and I will build new ballparks for the kids, playgrounds, and everything like that. And they told him, no, get out. Didn't want to hear anything about it. No change is allowed here in Crystal River. Home of the manatees, by the way, if you like that stuff.
Yes. The manatee. Anybody that's ever heard of or seen, a lot of people might be familiar with, it's Hernando County north to Citrus County. So like, a lot of people have heard of the mermaids and Weeki Wachee, or what's north of there where everyone goes down the river. Not just Crystal River, but
Silver Springs. You got
on the water. Starts with an H.
You got Homosassa.
Homosassa. That's the one that everyone goes to. So that's where all the manatees are. If you've ever wandered in Florida, that's where you are. And there's another baseball player from up your area. He's from North Brooksville, Inverness. His family still lives in Inverness. Bronson Arroyo still has family up there. So yeah, it's a small town area. I haven't lived there in 13 years.
You're not missing anything, trust me.
So
our rides, any type of mall, that's for sure.
How many items do you have on eBay right now? Somebody said, is he the guy with 30,000? No,
Just
he has
over 800.
800. There you go. So no, the guy with 30,000 is actually Brian. He has 100,000, but we'll discuss him another time. He'll be on my channel in the future. But yeah, Mike has about, I think I just looked. I just was checking 883, almost to 900 items.
Oh, but if you look at my seller hub, it's 805. We had this discussion.
Oh yeah, because you have quantities and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he does have some quantity items. So he has 805 listings and 883 total items. If you want to check out his store, he said he's okay with it. It's Flipping Goodies. It's FLIPPIN and then GOODIES. In fact, I can grab you guys a link. I have it right in front of me. And this should be it. Hopefully that works. Anyway, so on that total 800 listings, this is why I tell you guys, people always want to have like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 listings to hit 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 a month. You don't need it. He has 805 listings and does 7,000 to 8,000 a month. He's over, what do we say, 20, 21 grand for 90 days?
Yeah, my total right now is 21,300 and something.
There you go. Over 21,000. So over north of 7,000 a month for the last 90 days. And I do want to point out something when everyone goes to check out his store. He is top rated plus with free returns because we just had this discussion right before we came on. He sold an item, which I always tell people free returns. And there's a reason we'll talk about in a second. It's basically to offset your fee cost, the discount you get versus the returns. The only exception I talk about with this, there's two exceptions. One is if it's a really rare, unique, like if you have an autograph of JFK, you may want to consider not doing free returns. The other thing I always get concerned about is things that cost a lot of money to ship. If they're $40, $50 in shipping, I start thinking about it. And you sold something recently. I want to just jump off with one crazy thing that you sold. If everyone's on his sold, if not, I'll share it in a second. You sold, well, go ahead and tell us, what was the item that you sold?
It was a Emerson VHS TV combo.
Yep.
Now, I don't know why people want these things. A lot of people advertise as gamers and things of that nature. I'm not exactly sure what the fascination with it is, but that literally sold in 2 days, gone.
That's 2 days, and it sold for $134.96. And I'm gonna share. Give me a second. This is his active store while I've got you guys here. Let me just scroll down his active. So you guys can see he's got golf clubs. He does have some clothing items, but for the most part, they're,
Wait, Casey, roll back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, the rims. These things are like gold.
Yes, they are.
These is, in garage sales and stuff like that, you can find these and pick them up for $2-3 a lot of times because people just want them out of their garage. I mean, they're great. They sell great. I just sold a set of Chevy for a '67 Camaro. I think they were. I forget exactly what they were for. And it was a set of 5. I had 5 of them, so I just put them all together. I figured maybe it's for your spare tire then, But yeah, those things are great finds.
People, especially here in Florida on the hubcap side of it, they lose them at every pothole that we have. So, those type of things. Now, before we roll down his store any further, the reason I'm showing you guys this, I want you to start getting ideas. I'm not going to say that you're going to find 2 1958 Ford hubcaps in the next garage that you go to. The point is to find new things. Start getting these images in your head. So the next time you're at an estate sale or a yard sale, you will recognize, you'll say, oh, I saw that video. I saw Mike's store and he had 258 Fords and they sold for like $42. So, that's just kind of the idea, to open your brain up to something new. Now, obviously we're here in Florida. Golf's a big, big thing. And if you see, he's got quite a bit of golf clubs listed. Here's one, this Ping G5i Crazy B putter. It's a right-handed golf club. You've got it listed for $60 right now. Does anybody in the chat, before Mike tells you, anybody in the chat want to take a guess at how much he paid for this golf club? And if you paid for it in a lot, Mike, because I don't know, just give us what your best guess is divided by the amount of clubs. But you guys can see here also Wilson, an iron set up for 108, give or take. Another Golden Bear, which anybody who doesn't know who the Golden Bear is, wake up, $31. A vintage Palmer for 80. What do you pay for these golf clubs? Tell us. Let's roll through it.
Okay, I just bought a huge lot about 2 weeks ago. I still have, if you can see behind me, they're all behind me still because I only have about half listed right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Casey, we've got one thing. I'm part-time. I don't know if you mentioned that.
That's right. We didn't mention, Mike only does this part-time. I think I asked you a couple weeks ago when we talked, but how many hours do you think you're putting in a week?
I probably put in 30 hours.
30 part-time. For a lot of people, that's like probably the part way of part-time. I don't think 40 hours full-time anymore means much to anyone. 50, 60 is full-time. So 30 is right there at part-time. I mean, you're talking about, remember, we as entrepreneurs, you're working on the weekend, on Saturdays, you're going to yard sales, estate sales. So you're only talking about 4 hours a day at most, 4, maybe 5 at most.
Yeah,
so
I mean, sometimes it depends on what I have in stock, what I need to do. So that kind of dictates my night. How many sales I made throughout the day. I have 1 day shipping. So that's tough on somebody that gets up at 7:30 in the morning to go to work.
There you go.
And I got to run over to my storage unit and get the stuff that's sold. So
that led me into two topics that we're going to talk about in a second. One is he still maintains 1-day handling. So all you people that tell me you can't ship for 2 or 3 days, there's a lot of people with legitimate excuses. They have sick children. They have jobs that they start at 6 a.m. All those excuses, they're great. I understand them. But man, you're competing with Amazon and other sellers. 1-day handling is like almost a must in today's like e-commerce world. The second thing is, and we'll discuss in a second about your storage for storage unit. We have a lot of guesses. $3 and $4 was the average for the golf clubs. So let's roll through the ones that I got up. What kind of prices did you pay for these?
That's all bulk lot. I'm about $4 into these clubs each.
$4 per club, guys. $4. Do we see how selling one set or one club can make you as much as selling 2, 3, 4 polos or t-shirts almost all in one transaction? I think a lot of this, right before we came on the channel, we talked about the golf clubs, not just those, but even that TV. People are scared of shipping, like scared of shipping these items. They don't have a problem buying or selling them. They just don't want to worry about the shipping. What do you like? Give us some tips, some advice for packing and shipping this sort of stuff that just.
If you want to move into, let's just go with golf clubs because we're on that subject. So if you want to start selling golf clubs, I would strongly recommend you start with any type of high iron, 9, wedge, lob wedge, sand wedge. These are going to fit right in a medium tube. Okay, I just put some bubble wrap around the head and then on the grips. Now, when you're buying them, you want to make sure that the head is not worn. Let me see if I can get this in here. Right in this section here. And then, of course...
Let me make us bigger. Hold on. Let me make us bigger. Okay, go ahead.
So right in... Geez, this camera. Right in here, you want to make sure this is not like super rounded here. Okay, because this is where you dig in, and this is what they want to get into to make their divot, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the face of the club. You still want to have all these grooves going. You know, if you still see a lot of wear, it's going to be hard to sell them. And then the third thing that you really got to look for is the grip. Make sure these grips are still in good shape. Otherwise, this is going to be a tough sell. A grip, to have it put on, you're talking anywhere from like $7 to $15, maybe upwards, of 20 if you want a really good grip. So these are all things that, Jesus, I said. And then, of course, you want to stay with, I'm so sorry about the camera work.
That's all right. We can see it. We can see it.
Okay, so you want to stay with Ping, Titleist, Cobra, Callaway. You want to stay with those name brands. Once you start getting into like Spalding and Wilson and stuff, they're going to be a little iffy. So and then the other thing is that why I say use the higher clubs is a lot of people lose them on the golf course because they go up to putt and they have a wedge in their hand and their putter.
Yep.
They lay the wedge down after they chip on.
Yep.
And they laid it down, so it stays there.
So I am completely guilty of this. So I will just put it out there. I've never claimed to be, but I love golf. On a 1 to 10, 10 being an awesome golfer, I'm probably about a 4.5 or 5.
Okay.
I'm not good. I'm actually pretty good at chipping and not bad at putting. I can't drive for anything. I could stay at the driving range all day. I'm no good. But what Mike is talking about is when a golfer, for those of you not familiar with golfing, when you get close to the green, and that's where the hole is, the green, there's always like a little hill or a little up, and you need to chip up. So you switch clubs to a wedge or to either, if you're in the bunker, you're at a sand wedge, or you're at your pitching wedge, if you need to go a little bit to get up to the green, and then you're going to putt. So what golfers do is they carry both clubs, they park the golf cart out on the cart path, and they walk to where they're going to chip up with both clubs. Right. They put their putter down and they chip up to the green, and then they walk up to the green to do their putting to put it in, and they still have both clubs if they remember to carry the putting or the pitching wedge up, and then they lay down the wedge to go putt, and after they putt their ball into the hole and they get their ball out, they walk to the golf cart, leaving the pitching wedge on the edge of the green where they pitched up. And I literally probably a dozen times in my life have had people come to me and be like, anybody left their pitching wedge on the last hole? I'm like, yep, that's me. Like, I should have lost about 10 clubs by now if it wasn't for other people.
Do you realize what happens though there is if they don't catch up with you, they leave it in the pro shop.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, here's what you do. You go to your local golf courses, go to the pro shop, say, hey, do you have any leftover or lost clubs laying around
Ooh.
you want to get rid of? It is a great sourcing area.
So that's in case anyone's, I was just reading the chat, in case anyone's wanting to know to source, another sourcing avenue, if you're interested in golf clubs, that you could go to. So I was just asking about, or just asked about the speed of them, like long tail versus short tail. So golf clubs are not the fastest moving item, but they do move fairly well as far as speed goes. Is that what you find?
2 sets already, so
there you
go. I'm
go.
not too bad with them.
I think that they, again, like if I was going to rank things, cell phones and electronics being super fast, and then you got the long tail items, I'm going to put golf clubs somewhere in that middle to middle higher range. They do okay. I mean, we find a lot of them here in Florida, and I sold a few. I showed the Big Bertha and the Cobra that I sold on this channel. This was a while back, but sold the white hot putter. I paid $5 and sold it for, like, at the time, 55 or something. So I've sold a few. I've never really gone after them, and I always kick myself for it because I know there's money. But yeah, so golf clubs could be, and again, it's going to depend on the area. If you live in Vermont, you're probably not going to find too many golf clubs. But if you live in Florida, California, Arizona, even Texas, the Carolinas have a lot of good golf courses. So anywhere like that, you're going to have a good chance of finding some golf.
Maryland's another good spot. And just staying on the golf topic, you find these sell very well.
Big Bertha, yep.
Golf head covers, I don't care, as long as you got a name brand or a Mickey Mouse or whatever. These, I mean, people buy these. If you can find sets, it's even better.
Yep. Kate found a set. It's on one of my videos from way back in the day, a set of the Wizard of Oz with Dorothy, the lion, and all 4 of the characters. We paid somebody $4. They wanted $1 a piece. We took them all at a yard sale for $4, and they sold for $39.99. So that's on one of my videos somewhere way, way back. But yeah, even kids clubs can do well. I've seen some people sell some kids clubs. So one great thing, and we're going to talk about, since you mentioned sourcing, we're going to talk about, and this was your big thing about sourcing alternative spots in just a second. So what I want to do is I want to jump back over here to the screen share. Let me get my screen up here, and I'm going to show you a little bit more of his store, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of his solds, which look, in a U.S. Army, I'm just going to roll down these quick. You just tell me your best guess what you paid. A U.S. Army rucksack, 4,000 rucksack. What do you think you paid for that?
$2.
$2, guys. Look, $2. Where'd you buy it?
That's from a storage unit buy.
Storage unit buy. Okay, let's keep rolling down. More golf clubs.
Wait, go back up. Go back up.
Yep.
Slow down when you get to the Nike sneakers. Keep going.
There you go.
Right there. Those right there.
190.
Casey.
Jordan 12 Retro Winter Black, size 10.5, up for 190 plus 7. I'm not familiar with them, but you probably paid $5 or $10.
Zero.
I
found 7 pairs of Nikes, and in very, very good condition. I was kind of concerned they might be fake, but what I think happened was a girlfriend got mad at her boyfriend and threw him out on him.
Wow.
I pulled into my office one day, and there was a whole bunch of clothes and these sneakers sitting right there. And I stopped, being, a little investigation, see what's going on. I opened them up. I couldn't believe it. There was 7 pairs there. So
that's called keeping your head on a swivel for all of you that are old timers and know what I'm talking about. Keeping your eyes open, keeping your head on a swivel, and found a $197 pair of Nike Jordan sneakers. That's incredible.
The total is about $700 that I have listed.
Oof, $700 in a bag that someone threw out. Let me see what else I find that's very cool. Okay, so here's one. An Union Pacific diesel locomotive, $90.
Yeah.
What'd you pay for this?
Probably $3, because I buy in bulk a lot of times. Trains, here's the thing, and this is what I found, okay? Now, I'm sure it's obvious to a lot of people. Collectors and hobbyists will pay full price, because the price doesn't matter to them. They want the item.
Yes.
They're not going to have, somebody might hit me and say, I'll give you $75 for it or something like that. And I'd sell it at $75 because I don't have, I have very little into the item. But I had, and you can see it in my videos, I had 2 shelves full of trains. I have like 3 trains left right now, and that's it.
Wow. And trains are a hot thing. We had a doctor here that had 300 trains. He wanted a little too much for a lot of them, but there were some deals to be made. So Mike just mentioned on his channel, Adam linked it too. If you guys are interested in seeing all of this cool stuff, not just the items, but also you show a little bit of Club Red 97, which is our good friend Teresa. She asked about how you packed the TV. Mike actually makes videos showing some of his packing as well. So I gone ahead and linked his channel. Adam linked it as well. So those 2 channels, those 2 links right there will both go to his channel. He's got, what do you got, about 30 or 40 videos up right now?
I think 32.
32 videos, yeah. So a lot of it's inside of his storage unit where he has the inventory, some of his packing, and a lot of these finds. So I think you just hit a really good nail on the head. Let me switch over. Let me close out the screen share, and then I'm going to switch over to a couple of your solds really quick. But I think you hit the nail on the head about people want items when they're unique. Right. So when you're selling a Nike t-shirt that's black, there's 4,000 black Nike t-shirts, but you're selling a TV VHS combo where there may not be any others, or there may only be a couple. So one, you've reduced the competition. Now I stress sell-through rate and supply and demand. And it's fine to have something that sells 1,000 a day, but it's also great to have an item where there's only a couple. And as soon as you list it, there's people interested because people are looking for it. So they've got to go, they've only got 1 or 2 options. Like they've got to pay what you want or close to it, you know, and like you said, they might offer you a couple bucks less, but no big deal. So yeah, unique items.
I don't want to throw everybody off and think every item I have is under $10 because that's not true at all. I will pay up on certain things. My favorite thing right now to source is a HDMI VHS DVD recorder Sanyo. Okay. I got one about 2 weeks ago for $20, and I sold it for $300, and I think it was $359 on that one. And then I picked up one. I came in Tuesday, I think it was. I paid $125 for that, but that was a Facebook find. I got that from New Jersey, okay, and that sold for $300 because I didn't have the remote. And I'm talking about like in a couple hours, it's just gone. I can't keep them in stock. And I wish I could find more, but I can't. That's
crazy. So I was just scrolling through. Anybody who's watching, I'm looking at his solds right now, and I was trying to find. Let me see if I can go to page 2. Here's a Sony Handycam that you sold for $80.
Yep.
Let's see what else. I mean, your average sale price must be what, like $40, $50?
Yeah, I'm right around. I'm in that range. My recent buy, I bought a whole bunch of PC games.
Yeah.
From another reseller. This has brought my price down because these are going out the door for $10, $12 each. So
right, because you bought a big bulk of them. So that opens up our next topic. If you hung around this long, you're going to be happy because we're going to talk about sourcing. So it's great to see the sold. It's great to see your average sale price and everything that you're doing. But what I'm worried, and what everyone's going to ask me in emails and messages after the show is, okay, great. How does he find all this cool stuff? So the first couple of items are easy and obvious. So yard sales, estate sales, garage sales, things like that, where we all go. Where you live particularly, and this is something I've said on this channel before, we live in Florida, and I catch so much heat for this, but everybody nicknames us God's waiting room because there's a lot of elderly people, and it's true. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, it's just, they're elderly and they pass away, and that's just what happens. The second thing about that is, and I don't know how many of these companies or estate sales you deal with directly, but a lot of them are families that don't live in Florida. Mom and dad or grandma, grandpa retired here. And so the families are out of town and they just they're like, oh, hey, you inherited dad's house. It's full of junk. And they're like, oh my God, like, can you just sell it? Like, do something with it. Now, the estate sale companies, there are some here that are, corporate companies, whatever, that want to maximize their profit because they get their 20% or whatever it is. But some families handle it. Some families handle mom and pops, or they directly do it. And so you kind of have to I want to say shop around, but network around and learn which ones are which. And so tell us a little bit about your estate sale thing, because I think that's an untapped market.
Well, I have like 6 estate sale companies I work with in the local area here, where I like to go in and I can get a good feel just walking into the house what's going to be there, kind of, just by nature you can see around, look around, and my favorite thing to do is when I target something, I look to see what else is on the table or in that room, and just ask, how much do you want for the table? Everything on the table. How much do you want for everything there? If I see value in other items sitting there, and for some reason, they always turn around to me and say, well, what do you want to offer? I said, well, I want to offer as little as possible, right? So what can we do here? I bought an entire room at an estate sale. I was targeting one item. It was a gingerbread ceramic house, but it was huge. Okay, again, this is something you really don't want to ship, but I wound up having to ship it, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, they had a $200 price tag on the house alone. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I spoke to the girl. I've dealt with her plenty of times. I said, look, I'll take the whole room. How much do you want? She said to me, what do you want? Because she knows what I'm doing. Okay. She goes, what's key in here? I said, well, there's a couple items I'm interested in. Well, she gave me the whole room for $125.
Wow. Yeah. Networking. I can't stress that so much. Colleen just said exactly. Yeah. Look, they're willing to negotiate. They're there to make a deal. They're also there to make sales. And at the end of the day, if they've dealt with you and they know you're going to like not jerk them around, you're just like, hey, look, here's your $150. Here's your $125. They're on it. They know that you're a serious buyer. They don't want to have to worry about people coming in and out, and don't forget at estate sales, at the end of the estate sale, whatever's left, they have to figure out what to do with, right. Which is another opportunity all on its own, of course.
You got to be careful though. At the end, when I first started, I was always like, let's get there the last day and buy everything.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of stuff that you're probably not really that interested in anymore.
That's true. I do hear a lot of people say to go the last day. I've had a little luck, but honestly, the good stuff, people are going to estate sales. The good stuff is gone in the first day. You got to go and make deals. You're going to get better stuff making deals right away than waiting around. You can find stuff at the end, but for the most part, it's been picked through.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's been picked through.
I mean, I have a video out where I actually walk into the estate sale and the estate sale lady comes over to me. We have a very good relationship. She goes, Mike, buy me out. She was like, just buy everything in the house. That's how we work. So like, I think I told you this. She's given me the opportunity to go to another estate sale that she's been running. This is the 4th time she's going to have it. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's such a huge house, and it has like a separate, what we call the man cave, and it's just filled with bins. Okay. And I offered to her, I said, look, I'll go through this stuff and I will give you a fair price for everything in here, but you got to give me time to sift through a lot of it. So next week I have that opportunity.
And that's because of the relationship, the networking that you did with her to make that. So look, there's, I talk about this in one of my webinars that I did that's in my 2020 package, that there's other ways to source than just walking in the door and seeing what's available and just buying stuff. There's so many other ways. And one of those top ways I talk about is make relationships. People will, I see so many videos of people, and I'm not going to name them, but there's people that go to Goodwill's or even Ross in Burlington, and they buy a lot of stuff. And it's because the managers tell them, they call them, they text them, they let them know what's available or what's coming out. Even pawn shops. My days of pawn shop buying, people ask to this day how I did it. It wasn't because I walked in the door and just saw what was on the shelf. There's one video on this channel. If you search my channel, Rockstar Flipper Pawn Shop, there's a video of me in the back room of a pawn shop, and they had about 50 video games out on the shelf. They had like 5,500 of them in the back that they hadn't gone through yet. And I'm like, why haven't you gone through? They're like, we just don't have the time. I'm like, can I go back there and just like grab, stacks? And I come out of there with like 100 games. And she's like, what are you trying to pay? And I'm like, you haven't even pulled them out or priced them. I'll give you $2 a game, $200 right now. And she's like, they're sold. And I'm like, whoo, that was like $2,000 in video games. So make relationships, network. This seems like a lot of work, but trust me, the work that you put in now will pay off later, because then they're just going to text you, call you, and do it. So that is one of the sourcing secrets. It's not a secret, but it is a secret because so many people don't do it, right? I mean,
I think a lot of times people try to hide what they're going to do with the item.
Yes.
Okay. That they're trying to, you want to try and get the low price. You get in there like, okay, let me get this for this, right? But if you're up front, like I have people that I've contacted on Facebook Marketplace that I've bought from that text me all the time, Mike, I have this available now. Do you want it? You know? So I don't even have to go looking, and they're contacting me because I'll give them my business card and say, if you find anything else, give me a call. I'm always interested. I may not purchase it, but at least I'm a buyer, and if it's something I need or see value in, I'll be there and pick it up.
That's right. God, I can't tell you. People ask me all the time about hiding it and lying about what they do. And I'm like, yeah, you may, piss off one or two people knowing that you're selling and making money off of them. But you're going to make 100 people happy to know they can just save your number and hit you up when they need some money. Because remember, most of these people need money, or they want money and they just want it quick. And so they're willing to hit you up. Don't worry about sacrificing all that potential business over the one or two people that may hate you because you're a seller. Who cares? Like, great. If you don't want to look, if they're not going to sell to you because they found out you're a seller, they're probably not going to give you a good price anyways to begin with. So forget about those people and open up the doors to the other 2 dozen people that want to, sell you merchandise and just get money. Okay. So
I personally never had a bad response so far. I mean, I've actually had people ask me, can you help me get started doing it?
There you go. Yeah, that's the other one. And Colleen just said, Colleen's really big in the flea market world. She's in Scranton, PA, not too far from your old stomping grounds. She said she tells them what she does and what she sells, and they call her over and over and save stuff for her. So that's really good. Colleen's one of our dear friends. We love Colleen. If you, she doesn't sell what you sell, but she sells some odd stuff for females. I don't give away her secrets, but a lot of people know it. So,
well, probably the oddest thing I've sold, you asked me about it earlier, was those 2 taxidermy blowfish.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, do you have the one little leftover piece?
Okay, I bought this all at the same estate sale, and it was just the weirdest things. Oh, here we go.
And eBay doesn't have an issue with these listing, right?
No, as far as I know, they went up.
They're okay. I think they're good.
I never had a problem with it.
There you go. So
I was concerned after the fact when it sold. I'm like, can I legally ship this stuff? That's something I didn't look into.
That's always, my brain works that way where I think about that, but no issues. I looked up some similar ones when I was talking to you a couple weeks ago, and I didn't see any issues, or I saw some solds, not just your thing. I saw some seahorse, starfish, all kinds of different things. So I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think anyone that sees that stuff, you may not find that in an estate sale, those that are viewing me right now, but you might see one. You never know. And if it's $2 laying on the table, all of a sudden, hey, it's $40, $50. Or it's, I see people pass over things because they don't even know what it is. Now you're like, oh, let me stop. Let me take a look and figure this out. So step 2 of this process is a little more involved, but I think it's fantastic. And you've taken it to another level beyond even what I've done in the past. And this is my own fault. But once you start learning the items, once you get a feel for this, and this, you can kind of go on the hunt for those items. Once you figure out that you've done well on X item, X, A, B, C, whatever. So you decided that you're going to go on Facebook Marketplace, which is your biggest one. And hunt these items down. So what I want you to do, there's 2 ways that I know that you do it. Tell us about your process kind of on Facebook Marketplace and why the folks watching should be using it.
Okay. Well, you're going to get a lot of no's. That's right up front. You're going to get a lot of no's. But I am on the hunt for those Sanyo VHS, DVD, HDMI recorders because they sell in hours. I'm not talking, you're not looking at days. If you price it right, it's gone. So I have right now, I'm trying to work out 3 deals that I'm working on. One in Texas, I think the other one's in Minnesota, and I have another one up on the coast, I think Maryland. I'm trying to get, I have one in Tallahassee too. She has a brand new one in a box.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to convince her. It's a 3-hour ride for me. Not really worth it for that, but I'm trying to convince her to ship it to me. I'll pay the shipping. So there's nothing wrong with sourcing something that way. and then turn around and say, I'll pay the shipping. I have no problem with that. The problem is you got to be careful with people that do not pack. The last one I got in was in a box by itself and just rumbling around there. I looked at the box. I'm like, oh no.
No, that yeah, a friend of mine who's known in this, I won't name him, but known in this chat and on the Facebook group, he had one shipped in too. It was the 50 CD combo changer, the big heavy ones, and they didn't, same thing in the box. And you know those corner tabs that are like the mounting tabs, it was completely bent in on one side.
See, mine worked. Everything worked. It sold that night, gone.
Nice.
I put it back in that same box with some bubble wrap, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Mike, what Mike's talking about here is that, you know, a lot of people use Marketplace Local. So here in Tampa, it's a big city, you know, 800,000 people live in a 50-mile radius of me. I can drive, you know, 15, 20 minutes and meet pretty much anyone halfway. If they live 30, 40 minutes, we meet halfway. It's worth it. I can go pick something up, or, you know, if they live close, like, hey, meet me at Starbucks, Walmart. But there's a lot of items that you could either find on a Facebook Marketplace listed, like you said, Tallahassee, which is, a lot of people don't know this, the capital of Florida. It's up on the Panhandle, and it's a 3-hour drive for you. It would be 4.5 for me. That's too far to drive to buy one thing. You know, if it was a whole estate sale, maybe, but even that's tough. But Mike's convincing people to pack it up and ship it, especially on items kind of obscure like that, because it's not easy for them to find a local buyer. It's not the easiest thing, you know, unless you're me or you or somebody else that knows what it is. Nobody's going to jump on that like it's an iPad, right? There's no. So
it's obsolete equipment to them.
Right. And so it's just going to sit, and they're going to list it for, you know, $50, $60, whatever. And this might be worth $100, $125, $150. And so you hit them up and you're like, hey, I'd be happy to give you $30, $40 and pay the shipping of $10, $15 from Tallahassee to get it to you, $20 to get it to you. Right. And so the stigma of that, and this was the last thing we discussed before we came live. There are a lot of scammers on Marketplace and Craigslist and local marketplaces, but you can use PayPal like normal payment systems. You can send them an invoice, or they can send you an invoice and you can pay it, and they can ship it out. You know, once they get paid, they're all set. Now, a lot of people are going to say no, like you said, right off the top. They don't want to mess with it. They don't want to ship. They're scared. But there are some people, like for me, for example, I sell about probably 1 to 2 items a week. I don't sell much. I've got a couple tables up for sale on Facebook Marketplace right now. Obviously, I wouldn't ship those, but I do sell things. We sold a bundle of PlayStation 4s with tons of games and controllers for like $175. I bought it for $100. I sold it for $175 local. I would have been happy to ship that because I know how the system works and I know PayPal. And so if somebody like you had hit me up and said you wanted it, I'd have been okay, because I'm not going to drive 2 hours to give you a PlayStation. But if you wanted it, I'll ship it to you. And so there are plenty of people that use Marketplace that will ship to you.
Yeah, you also gotta remember, you have buyer protection with PayPal.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm not in the business to rip people off, but if you send me something you said was working and it's not working, I'm going to try and get my money back, because I'll send the item back to you, just like anything we do on eBay, you know? So you have that protection. So here's the upside of this, okay? If I drive a half hour to pick this item up, I hand you cash, right? But if I hit you and you're in New Jersey and you send it to me, I got to send money to you one way or the other, and I'm going to try and drive you towards PayPal, because I know I'll get the protection from that. Now, the half-hour drive I took, I can't test that VCR. I have to take a chance on that. Hand you cash, go back to my house and test it.
And pray that it works when you get back. Yeah.
So now I'm stuck. So you got to be super careful. You also, let's face it, you got to be willing to take a loss sometimes.
It happens.
You're going to buy items. You're going to get home and like, oh, no, that doesn't work. You know, what do you do now? But you took a chance on it, you know?
Yep. We did it. Yeah, we did it in Miami. Miami from us is about 4 hours. We were in Miami for 4 days a couple years ago that I did videos. And I actually hit up people that were local to Miami to buy some stuff. Because of the hotel we were staying in was close to Brickell downtown. And I met a few people right outside the hotel. I bought items from them. But like you said, I handed them cash. I took it back up to the hotel room to test it. And because I didn't want them coming to the hotel room. And I had to just take their word for it. And one of the items had an issue. It wasn't broken, but it had a small issue and it cost me some money. And it is what it is, but the rest of them were profitable. So you're going to, here and there, it'll happen, hopefully rarely, hopefully once every few months, 4 months, 5 months. But at the end of the day, you profit on everything else. So I just asked everybody, Vegas Thrifts just asked me to ask everyone if they had questions. And a couple already rolled in. So I'm just going to throw them over to them. Yeah, Alexis, thank you. Appreciate the thumbs up for that. Have you gotten car parts to resell, either junkyards or online? Do you do any car parts?
Okay. A lot of people probably aren't familiar with this name. You might be, Casey. We have LKQ here.
LKQ, man.
Okay. They are literally 5 minutes from my house. Okay. I've gone in and discussed certain things with them, but you don't get very far because they sell everywhere.
Yeah, they do. There's one right down the road from me.
So no, I haven't tried that route because the only place I have is LKQ, and it's tough getting through the door there. Yeah,
they're a big company. They do a lot of sales, so they've got a lot of customers. There's one here just before the Port of Tampa. It's in that industrial area. So yeah, it's huge too. Couple people I've talked to here in Tampa tried it as well and didn't have a lot of luck. Ryan wanted to know if you test all the DVD, VCR recorders and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, those sort of things, you have to be really careful, Ryan, with those because it's really heavy to ship and you don't want to have a return on that. So you want to be sure that those things are working.
Pick this stuff up when you're estate sailing.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, remember, you can hang on to one of those, one VHS and one DVD and stuff, and use those for testing. Everyone used to ask me about testing PlayStation 4s and PlayStation 3s. Yeah, I always keep a game or two just sitting. I mean, I have my own games, but I don't game. I wish I could, but I always have, those. And the old Sega, Genesis, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. It's been on this channel. I have it right behind me, actually. I have one of those retro systems. It's like $40 that you just plug in and test multiple games. Right. So I kept that. I bought a couple of them and I kept one. Like it was a $40 investment, but hey, I was able to test how many games on that. So
I'll go further on that to answer. I have that one I was talking about when I had to return with PayPal. It's sitting on my couch back there. The problem with it was it worked. The VHS worked. The DVD player worked. The recording worked, but the sound on the recording didn't work.
Oh.
So everything was working except for the sound. Now, I'll probably put it up for parts on eBay because everything's there. It's just that one little thing, and I might be missing something. I tried cleaning the lens and all that stuff, and I couldn't get the sound. So, if you don't test, you're looking at a return.
Yeah. Look, I used to do I never liked buying laptops because there's so many features, Wi-Fi and USB ports and the microphones and the sounds. I used to have to test everything. And that's why I hated that. Same with iPads even or phones. There was so much to test. If I want to sell a microphone, this thing has a volume button and 2 plugins. It's pretty easy to test. But
I saw a question earlier about, do I test the TV VHS combos? Okay. It depends on where I get it from. If I'm at a estate sale, oh yeah, I'm plugging that in. And I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to grab a VHS tape from somewhere because I got to have one laying around and throw it in there and check it. Now, if I'm sitting there at a garage sale or a Facebook buy, I'm going to take the chance because I'm not going to spend over $10 on it.
Yeah, you have to kind of weigh your risk, the risk versus reward, and what you're willing to gamble, how much capital and money. Hey, Mr. Buys a Lot, Brian, speaking of, we mentioned him in the chat. Great video the other day. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. I saw one other question for you. How do you test a wireless Xbox controller if you don't have a system that you bought for 99 cents? You can either try to find a friend. I've found a couple friends that have them that I've been able to test stuff, but I do have the systems. If you don't have a system, then you can change the batteries out. Make sure it lights up when you press the buttons. That, if it lights up, most of the wireless controllers also have the, the plugins for the charging. So if it lights up when you're charging it, lights up when you're playing it, there's a pretty good chance that it works. We kind of do the same thing on TV remotes. So remember, and I actually have a bunch right here next to me. So if we're testing a remote, we're going to put the batteries in, batteries we know that work. We're going to point it at our phone and make sure the lights light up. If it powers up and lights up, It's almost a good chance. Now, I don't have this TV, so I can't actually test it on the TV, but I can test it for the lights, all the buttons working. And I can tell you, we've already sold well over 300 remotes in the last 3 months, and we have had 2 returns. One was my fault, one was their fault. So get rid of the one that was their fault. 1 return out of 300 remotes, and I don't even know. It's still sitting in a package somewhere. It's probable that it works and they just didn't know what they were doing. So I like those odds. I'm okay with that. So as long as you do your due diligent testing and you feel comfortable with it. Also, listen to Mike. It depends on where you get it from. If you got it out of the dumpster, maybe. If you got it from a nice house where it's sitting on a table with a DVD player and all, there's probably a good chance it probably works. So
hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's subscribing. I really appreciate it. I'm not in the chat, so I can't answer you personally or type it in, let's say. So thank you for all that.
Yeah, I just linked Mike's YouTube channel again. So go. He only needs a few more to get over 100. So go check out his channel. Watch some of the videos. I helped him a little bit with the channel. He's going to keep improving the quality and the stuff. But look, get your notepads out and take notes of what he's telling you, because it's really valuable.
Hey, Case, I want to touch on one other point that with the remote testing an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 51 years old. Okay, my game system is waiting for me tomorrow to pick up an Atari 800.
Sorry, yeah, I knew what it was.
Right? My son has it in Orlando. I'm going there tomorrow night to pick that up, and then in the morning, we are in estate sale heaven, Orlando.
Well, look, I saw his map, and in fact, I might be able to pull this up on my phone. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I almost forgot. I'm going to bring this up in a second. So today's Thursday / I need Friday, right?
I want to also mention maybe one other thing while you're doing that. This is more for the newer sellers. And Casey, you could probably help me out with this, because I mean your background's intense in this area. For me, when I first started, okay, I sold stuff that probably just like everybody else. I sold stuff around the house, started doing that. And then I think maybe once I had like $120 in PayPal, something like that, is the first time I ever stepped foot in a thrift store. And I watched a couple of videos, and they're like, yeah, buy Tommy Bahama and all that stuff, It takes probably, I put my LLC in place like 2 months after I started, but it's going to take a good 4 to 6 months, in my opinion, for any new person starting out without a big bankroll to kind of see any type of profit on a regular basis. And I think that's why 2 of the things I bought recently were from resellers. These PC games I got, these here, and I have like 250 of these things. I paid $30. I've already made like $300 off of this. But it's hard to turn stuff like this and make $4 and see any way like there's a future at it. You just got to stick with it. I think overall, a lot of people just don't see the profit right away, or think they're going to see profit right away. You're putting too much back into the business every day.
It is, yeah. You have to reinvest, and you have to know that. I just put a video out. I'm glad you mentioned it. That you're not going to get rich overnight or in a month, or even 2 or 3 months. Yeah. You got to go 90 days. Based on what you spend for your equipment, your supplies, your first couple rounds of inventory, your fees, your listings, your first couple of months are just going to be getting your wheels going and just getting off the ground and rolling. Just know, yeah, you're going to buy an item for $2 and sell it for 20 and make some profit. But when you total all that profit up and then take away everything you've spent and got going, there's not going to be a whole lot left, if anything. So don't get discouraged. I just put that video out. Donatella, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. $4.99. Am I going to have more guests on my show? Yes. And speaking of that, there's going to be a second video with Mike, and I want you guys to, I did this for my area, but this is Friday and Saturday. Let me zoom this back a little bit. This is North Tampa over to Lakeland. So anybody who's not familiar with Florida, that's Tampa. And then over this way is Orlando. And this is a town called Lakeland, pretty big town. So Mike lives way up here, and he's going to be traveling 75 out. Which way do you go?
I'll be going Florida Turnpike to get over
the
there.
Turnpike. So he'll be following that way out to Orlando, and my zip code is set to Tampa, but he can show you his. Yeah.
Let's see. Can I get it in there?
Yeah. Zoom. Put it all the way to the camera and then pull back.
There we go.
Pull back a little bit. Perfect. So there is out where his son lives. We have a lot of sales going on. It's nice. We've had nice weather.
Weekend, actually. I haven't looked at it. This is actually sometimes you can't even see the land there. There's so many of them.
Yep. So we've had pretty good weather this past week/weekend. We had a nasty storm a week ago, and then it's been pretty good ever since. And so Las Vegas Thrifts just made a great comment here. Can't wait for y'all to go to outsourcing. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and there is an eBay meetup on February 27th, which happens to be a Thursday night. Remember, guys, there's no live show that Thursday. I may do it Wednesday. I got to hammer that out. But what I discussed with Mike, and here's the thing. I know the area south of him a little bit. I don't know his area great. But we're going to check the maps. We're going to keep an eye on when it's like, because I don't want to go up there. It's a little bit of a drive if there's nothing going on. But we've had good weather. So I feel like there's a good chance in the next couple of weeks, either that weekend or the next weekend or sometime in March, to go up there and do an estate sale and garage sale Saturday. I think Saturday is the best day, or you rather Friday?
Well, either, Saturday is always the best day for me because I work. But
oh, that's right. Yeah, because your job. Yeah. So Saturday, it'll be a Saturday. So what I would do is that I was thinking about, again, it's probably 90 minutes to get into his neck of the woods. I drive to Webster Flea Market. It takes exactly an hour and 5 minutes. So I can get to him in probably 90 minutes or less. And I'm going to take the SUV, not my car. It's not reasonable, but in case I do buy something big. But take the SUV up there and we can make a garage sale video. Mike can take a camera and I'll take a camera. And hopefully there'll be some estate sales as well, so we can get a little bit of both. And we'll put that video up on both channels. So make sure you're subscribed to his with the channel. Donatella's over in Palm Beach, Mike. That's somebody, network with Donatella. She buys estate sales. She buys storage units. She's a fantastically sweet lady. And she's in your, I don't want to say your wheelhouse is the right thing. Like, she loves this weird, she's awesome. She's sweetheart. And she's out in Palm Beach though. Like, I keep telling her I'm going to come out there, but man, it's like 3 hours.
That's a ride.
It's a long ride. Even Mike's a ride for me, Donatella, but I'm going to make it to Palm Beach.
We could do a triangular thing.
Donatella, you ride to Tampa, darn it. It's a long drive. So the great thing about this video, what I want you guys to learn, and hopefully we can do this sourcing trip together soon. There's so much more stuff than just what you see, clothing or other stuff. There's everything out there, and people will buy everything. Let me show you how unique of stuff people will buy. Mike, do you have that item you showed me before we came on? Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
I want to show you guys how unique.
You talking about this one?
Yes. So perfect right there. This is I call it a model roadster. And it's made out of, if you didn't notice, and you can see it says Empire State. That is a New York State license plate. It's probably 2 of them, right? Or is it just 1 or is it 2?
Probably 3.
Probably 3 of them there. Yeah.
You got 1 on the bottom too.
Oh yeah, 1 on the bottom. There you go. So there's like 3 of them that somebody has made a roadster with 4 wheels, the whole shebang. That's very cool. So where did you find this?
I found this at a flea market, and I made a deal with the guy to give me a few. Let me try and sell them. If I sell them, I'll buy all his inventory from him, and I'll buy, at whatever he wants, and I'll just raise the price a little bit, because you're not going to find this anyplace else.
Nope. So he makes those. I wonder how long it takes him to make one. That's crazy. Yeah. What kind of, like, if somebody wants to buy that from you right now, how much?
I think that's up for like $90, I think, something like that. And remember, there's a lot of work involved in it, so I have to, compensate for that.
Who's going to buy it? A guy from Long Island that lives in Florida and wants something collectible? I mean, there's a lot of people. Look, we got a lot of New Yorkers that live here, okay? There's a lot of people. And it's not just, he can make that car with any state's license plate, for that matter.
That's what I told him. I said, I'll do custom orders if we get this rolling. I'll, set up a website. We'll do custom orders for him.
Yeah, I mean, you could set up a Shopify in 5 minutes and have them rolling out the door. Donatella sold a purse made of license plates for $75. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to get $80-$90 for something like that. So
you're in a couple genres there. You know, you're in the car collector, you're in the license plate collector. You know, I mean, it rolls. It's not really a toy though. I mean, it kind of rolls. So let's put it that way.
It kind of rolls.
Kind of.
Baron's question: there sure are a lot of garage sales. So do you make decisions based on contents to sell
sell comments? I think he means, like, you know, I think he ended it there.
Yeah, I think a lot of, so the thing about having a lot of garage sales, I've had both experiences. So I've gone out to, you know, like we have a lot of community subdivision garage sales here. While being good that there's a lot in one neighborhood or a lot in a general area, I tend to like the ones that are off the beaten path a little bit more. They have cooler stuff. They have, you know, a lot of times better prices. And that's kind of where Mike is at in his side. Remember, I live in suburbia hell. Call it what you want. It takes me 30 minutes to get to the highway. I live here because it was a family atmosphere. No, I don't have a family, but maybe one day I intend on it. We wanted to live in a good, safe neighborhood, but there's 1,000 subdivisions with 50,000 houses around me. Mike lives in an area that's not so much that way. So it is more farmhouses, houses with land. I know it's hard to believe, but there are Florida houses with land. There's a lot of ranches up there. There's a lot of open, like orange groves and vineyard. There's a lot of different open areas there. So that's where you tend to find the older stuff, the cool stuff, the collectibles. And that's why I'd love more than anything. I used to remember when I lived there, I moved here in 2015, the end of 15, middle end of 15. I lived with my parents. I was 20 years old. I didn't really start reselling until about 2 years later, till about 2000, or I said 2005, 2007, 2008 is when I got my reselling start on Craigslist. You know, I've been selling about 12 years, give or take. I didn't know to go around to garage sales and estate sales back then. If I had, I probably would have, because I lived up that way. And now I wish I had, but now I want to take a trip and find some cool stuff. So
yeah, no, it's great resourcing up here. When I first moved down here, I bought a house with 5 acres, because up on Long Island, to have 5 acres is actually having the whole block that everybody you know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, look at this, 5 acres of land. But then as the kids got older and went to college and moved out and I had to cut the grass, not so much anymore.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't have it. 5 acres here is the whole neighborhood too. So what's the California Flipper? How long have you been selling? So California, I know you just came in the chat. Mike is part-time. How long?
8 months.
8 months.
I started on eBay in 1999, but that was
you've been on a while. That's right. 20 years you've been on it.
Yeah.
But as far as actually legitimately selling for money,
June last year. June 1st is my LLC date.
Oh, by the way, guys, $7,100 a month average in sales, just FYI. So it's doable. Anybody that tells me, I get these messages all the time that they've been selling for a year or a year and a half, and they can't seem to get over that 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. It's just, the answer is easy. Sell better items. Sell better items. More money, yes. Unique items, yes. Just better items. Stuff people want to buy. There's so many black t-shirts on the market. There's so many, you know, this, pillows or that, or just sell better items. Hard goods are crazy. You know, I sell a lot of remotes, and I got a question about this the other day. Aren't you flooding the remote market? Well, no, because this remote has 8 on the whole market. It's not expensive, and I did it because it was a volume deal, of course. Right. But there's 8 of these. When I listed it, there was 8. And so, like, 8 of them is going to take all of a month for the inventory to rotate. It's going to move. It's going to sell. And so I don't want to sell stuff where there's 8,000 of them and only 8 a day are selling, because it's going to take all decade to sell it. You're selling items where there's 2 or 3, and as soon as someone wants it, it's gone. So
hey, you want to check an item I sourced today?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do one more.
I don't have it with me, but it's a Sansui MX12, right? I think it's MX12.
Yeah, you sent me the link to this. MX12?
MX12, I think it is.
No, that one's not showing.
I just got it today.
Let me see if I can find it. Yep, that's it. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so that item there, okay?
I'm going to share it. Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
There's 2 listings, mine and somebody else's. That's all I found was 2 listings for that thing. And
There you go.
So that's mine on top. I know the picture's horrible because I took it at work because I have a friend that's in that business. He's testing for me right now. But as far as we can tell there, everything was working fine. So we went with it, and if I hear anything different, I'll change my listing. But as of right now, everything we tested was working fine. So that's my listing on top.
$275 free shipping. He's competing against 190 plus 38, so $228. So he's only about $47 higher than this guy, but he's got top rated seller. And then if we were to open these side by side, I don't know if they're going to pop up on the screen, but let me just take a look.
The biggest difference is I can list it as working. His is only listed as powers on. Tested to power on.
Yeah. And he put used, which is not true because it should be parts because he didn't test it completely. So somebody's going to be willing to spend an extra few bucks to know that that is actually what you say it is and that it's working and tested and fully good.
I bought it because of the 21 watches on his. When I saw it and I looked it up, I got it off Facebook today for $40.
$40 for that on Facebook. Boom. Was it shipped in or did you get it local?
No, I got it local. It's 10 minutes from my house.
$40. So my last tip to you guys is make a list, not a list of Mike stuff. Make a list of stuff that you sell or that you see or that has good volume of sales or good prices. Keep a list. Look, I sell Bolo List all day. That's great. Fantastic. It's because of what I see. Mike's got a list of the stuff that he sees and sells. Everybody has to make a list on your own. I've been to 1,000 estate sales with Polaroid cameras constantly. I have a spreadsheet of Polaroid freaking cameras and their prices. I know which ones sell for $10 and which ones sell for $80. And so as soon as I see, you could take me to a yard sale right now with a table full of Polaroids and I can be like, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no. I know every Polaroid camera there is to know. I promise you there isn't one. I've even priced out the ones that come apart with the accordion looking crap.
Yep. Yeah.
Look, I can tell you all of them because I see them nonstop here. It's crazy.
Canon AE1 program's a good one to pick up.
Yep. So not one on my list, so I'll have to look it up. But make a list of the stuff that you see. Stop being scared because look, the first time you ship a golf club or you ship a DVD, VCR, TV combo, and you ship it out and everything goes great and you make $80, you're gonna be like, wow, that was easy. Let me go buy 8 more because that was easy. So this is Mike's.
It's not. I think it's just overwhelming in the beginning.
It is.
But once you look at it and break it down and say to yourself, okay, how do I put this in this box without it breaking? You know, that's the goal. So if you watch the video I did the other night, okay, about packing, I packed a full body 26-inch porcelain doll. The whole body, the legs, everything's porcelain. She looked like, I feel bad for that customer when they get it because she looked like a mummy. I have her bubble wrapped every which way you could think of. But it's a high-priced item, and I don't want to break it.
What was the sale price?
Yeah, that's between me and the buyer. It was it was a little more than you'll show on YouTube. On eBay.
Good call. Good call. So yeah, I mean the lesson here is it is overwhelming. It can be a little scary. Don't let it scare you out of making money because once you figure it out the first time, you're good. You'll know how to do it every time after that and everything. You know, accidents happen, damage happens. You know, at those type of prices, you get insurance. You know, for $5 you can get insurance, but there's tons of ways to do it without being scared and without turning down so much stuff. So pool noodles are our best friend. Donatello.
Yeah, pool noodles and a great source of pool noodles for you, Casey, is Pinch a Penny. They leave the pool noodles out front. And what happens in Florida when you leave stuff out front?
It's gone.
They fade. They get all faded, so they don't want to sell them anymore. I go in, I buy boxes full.
Oh, I got you.
50 of them that they're trying to pawn off for 50 cents. I go in and buy the whole box for like 10 cents each, 25 cents each. And I have them, if you look at my storage lot, you'll see them just laying around all over the place.
Nice. So you guys can see that on his channel. I just linked it again, but Yeah, there's so much good stuff. You have so much information. I can't wait to do a sourcing trip. I got to do one by March at the latest. I know February is coming to an end, but are you going to make the eBay upfront? I know that it's Thursday, so it's probably tough for you to drive down. You're not going to make it.
If I can get off, but you don't have to buy tickets.
Yeah, it's $20 on the website. If you can't make it,
are they still available, or is it what's the deal?
Oh, somebody was messaging. I don't know. You have to go on there and check.
All right, we'll talk about it.
If not, then I'm still going to go up to his part of town, maybe Ocala. The Villages is where that's the town. That's a lot of 55 and over communities, almost all 55 and over communities.
Well, people should be familiar with the name The Villages.
Yeah, The Villages is something that actually I was surprised a lot of people knew that don't live around here or that live far away. The Villages is 55 over. I mean, there's other people that live there, but majority of those areas are elderly people.
I don't have the greatest luck there with estate sales, but I go because you never know what you're going to run into, but they're usually high priced over there.
Are they really? I'll have to check it out. But yeah, so Villages to Inverness to Lecanto to Ocala, that whole little 30-minute circle there is got it. We'll leave it with this. What was the best flip in your last 8 months that you've done? What was the biggest profit?
My Technics Mach 1 stereo speakers, which nobody would in their right mind would pick these up. Okay. It was actually, I was at an estate sale and I wanted to buy, she had 3 pieces of vintage stereo equipment. I wanted to buy those 3 pieces. So I offered $125 for those 3 pieces. Now, this is a lady I work with a lot. She says, well, you're going to take the speakers too? I'm like, no, I don't want those monsters. You know, I'm talking about 3.5 foot high, 16, but they're a piece of furniture.
No.
She goes, Mike, do me a favor, take the speakers. I'm like, all right. I didn't even look them up. I threw them in the back of my truck, put the real equipment that I was interested in the back of my, I put it in the cab. So I get home, I take them out, I put them in the storage locker. For like 2 weeks, I just left them there. So finally, when I was over there one day, I looked it up. They were $500 speakers. And I was like, well, I pretty much got them for free because the stereo equipment that I had sold, I think, for a total of like $600. So, that one buy, I laid out $125, which I was more than happy to do. I wasn't thrilled about taking the speakers. So from that day on, when I go to estate sales, I bring a hand truck with me because those things were such a pain for me to get out. I had no help getting them out, So now I bring hand trucks with me.
So you made your 150, 200 profit on the main item, and the rest was all extra. That's fantastic. So you never know what you guys will come across. Don't turn your cheek at anything because it might be $500 speaker. So I'm going to go back and check Mike's channel one more time. You are at 112 subscribers now. So thank you guys so much for checking his channel out. He's been putting up videos consistently. He's doing good. He's taken a lot of the advice and tips he's seeing, and we're going to go do a video with him. But I want to say thank you because my viewers ask for other stuff. Show me other stuff. Show me sellers who are successful in doing other things. And so here he is. And I'm going to tell you guys one other thing. Mike asked me to come on the channel, which is something I don't do a lot of. And it's not because I don't want people on the channel. It's one, because it's so slammed. Like me putting together anything with anyone is hard for me because I'm the most unorganized person ever. But the second reason is everyone knows how I feel about I did have an issue with somebody, but look, I took the chance because like, look, Mike's doing awesome. He was super nice about it. He completely came. I love this type of thing. This was watching your channel and your store has been fun for me. I love it. And it's even bigger props because you live here, which I love too. So it's been a joy. Great. I love the last hour. Mike, thank you.
I really appreciate it, Casey. Everybody that watched, so thank you very much for the subscriptions. I'll put out a good video probably Sunday night of the estate sales from Saturday in Orlando.
That's awesome. So
and my Atari 800.
Ooh, the Atari too. Yeah, because he's picking up from his son. Do me a favor when you guys go over to Mike's channel, besides subscribing, whatever video you watch, if you have either questions or if there's something you want to see him do, obviously as YouTubers, we can't do all of it, but put it in there and suggest it. One of the best things you can do for somebody that makes video is tell them what you want to see, because there's no point in us making videos if you're not interested. So let us know, like, hey, I want to see your inventory. I want to see your storage. I want to see your packing, whatever it is you want to see. And then us as YouTubers, we think of that. And the next time we film, we're like, oh, let me film X. And so it really helps us to come up with content and do stuff that you guys actually want to see. So leave comments on his channels. The comments help his channel too. So
and I'm still learning. So
yeah.
it's, I take it with it. I look, I'm an old guy, man. I don't care anymore, Casey. It's not, you're not going to insult me anyway. So if you see something I'm doing bad or bad camera action or whatever it is, I'm fine with it.
No, please don't tell that. No, he's done well for the first 32 videos. So thank you guys for going to support him. I appreciate you being here for the live show, and take a few minutes and go check out his channel. Adam linked it. I linked it. It's down in the description as well. Donatella, I'll be in touch with you. I'll message you, or actually send me a message and we'll talk about it. But until next time, until next week, thank you guys so much. Thank you for being so hospitable to Mike. It's Flippin' Goodies, FLIPPIN Goodies, Flippin' Goodies. That's YouTube and his eBay store. So check those out. And if you need links, just comment below and I'll send them to you. Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate it as well.
Casey, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. No problem at all. Thanks for sharing all the cool stuff. And we'll see everyone next week. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend, and good sales to you. Happy hunting, and have a wonderful night. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.